Welcome to Voice It, a podcast showcasing people in the Clare Valley in the mid-north of South Australia who've started their own businesses from scratch and have turned them into success stories. This is a chance for them to tell you their story. I'm your host, Annabelle Homer.
I am a farmer, makeup artist, mechanical-minded performer, educator, and the list goes on. I don't know how to do one thing. I have absolutely no idea.
Meet Alastair Mosey. It's not that often you meet a makeup artist who's also a farmer. Alastair is a 37-year-old sheep producer from Eudunda and also the director of Sensation Makeup Artistry. This episode focuses on a bloke who had a rough start in finding his way in life, navigating through some tremendous ups and downs to find makeup as his source of identity. From dropping out of school at 16, roustabouting in shearing sheds and working on pig and poultry farms, Alastair was told throughout his youth he wasn't good at many things until he started applying makeup at drag shows, a skill he excelled at. After getting his diploma, he went on to educate future makeup artists, worked on film sets, dance shows and weddings, to then creating his own makeup line, Bush Babes. There's so much to Alastair's story because he's also a farmer. And he's in the early stages of establishing his own sheep stud. And that in itself is a story because his family is also deeply connected to Anlaby Station at Kapunda. Enjoy the charismatic Alastair and get some makeup tips along the way. All right, let's start from the very beginning, Alastair. I want to hear all about you. How old are you?
Oh, not as young as I used to be. I'm 27.
You're only 27.
Oh.
Only 27. You're a baby.
You're going to have to scratch that. I'm 37. Why the fuck did I say that? You're going to enjoy the outtakes of this later. 37. Put a microphone in my face. Well, born and bred in Eudunda, so specifically Napla, South Australia, so a small farming community. I suppose I did the usual child things, annoyed both my parents and fell out of utes and loved dogs and lambs and all those kinds of things. Then a little bit later on, as families do, mum and dad split, and that was, probably for the better. And I went to live with mum in town, and then I came backwards and forwards with the farm on the weekends, and I don't know, that's just the sort of the way that goes.
And
at that point.
How old were you when your parents split?
9 or 10, around that mark, something like that.
And what was that like for you?
Rough, definitely rough. But the best part about going through rough times when you are younger is you have a much thicker skin and a better way of handling much tougher situations in real life. And you also have the power to help other people through their own stuff as well, which is a massive skill. And people who haven't been through tough times do not understand, do not have the empathy to help others through that, just in my view anyway.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, that one's slightly complicated, but my father remarried. My father's wife, Jeanette, had 3 lovely children before she married Dad. So I have 3 step-siblings, and I have 2 half-siblings from Dad and Jeanette. Yeah.
So quite a Brady bunch.
Yeah, very complicated, but great. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's great.
So you moved down to Adelaide with your mum.
Yes.
And most of your high school years was in Adelaide?
Schooling in general, yeah.
Yeah.
Schooling in general, that was with mum. She was the most incredible mum, and I can tell you, she didn't get 1 child with me, she got 7. So there's many personalities to me. So, hats off to her for raising me practically on her own for most of it. So she's...
Can you explain a bit more about that?
Oh, yes. Well, I am a farmer, makeup artist, mechanical-minded performer, educator, and the list goes on. I don't know how to do one thing. I have absolutely no idea. So as a kid, I became bored very quickly. So my mum worked incredibly hard to keep me entertained and to keep me on the right path. She was just absolutely incredible. It still is to this day.
What was school like for you?
Shit, basically. It was very rough. I did not fit in any sense of the word. I was throw as many acronyms as you like out there. It was like ADHD and dyslexic and those things. So study for me in school was just not an option. I would much rather go out and play in the sandbox or do something else. And I always knew I was a bit different. I didn't like sport, really. Loved motorbikes, loved cars, loved the country life, loved getting out there. And I sort of couldn't do that in the city much because of the situation. So I became a bit of a brat, I think. I was just...
Oh, so a bit rebellious? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Oh, yeah. As a child, I was, always seeking something extra to do. And if I couldn't do it, I'd just make hell. So that's why I say hats off to my mum. She did an incredible job.
So did you complete school?
No. I got to the first term of year 10 and year 9 was hard enough. It was like I liked the people and I liked boarding school, and that was fantastic. Boarding school was the best couple of years of my life. Loved it.
You went to boarding school?
I did, later on.
But your mother was in Adelaide?
No, at this point she'd moved back to Burra.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
And I did my last 2 years at school at Scotch, which was wonderful. And I loved the boarding school part because I never really grew up having permanent siblings or mates. So when it came to boarding school, you make a lot of friends, and it was like a little family. So I loved it. I still keep in contact with most of them today, which is great. We see each other, and it's the one you don't like, you still give a bit of a nod, and you're really glad that you're still slim. But no, it was a really good time. But
so boarding school was good for you.
I loved it for the social reason.
Mm-hmm.
Got to really spread my wings, and you develop a real sense of independence as well, because if you don't do your own laundry or whatever, you're the stinky kid and you'll just get punched. So it's like you learn very quickly to take care of yourself, do your homework, make your own food. So I was very privileged in the fact that mum always looked after me in that way, and when I was younger. But in the later years, it doesn't do anyone any good. So I got a real streak of independence, and it was great, and I loved it.
Before you went to Scotch, you said you went to numerous schools, 6 schools, 5 schools?
Oh, it was on and off and in between. I went to Eudunda area school for a little bit, and then I went to Trinity College for a little bit, and then I went to St Andrews for a little bit, and then I went to back to the Borough School.
So why so many changes? Couldn't settle?
Well, there was a lot of that, and I think Mum and Dad were trying to get my education right for me, because was not someone that academically learnt well. Like it was a challenge, and also with the the social challenges that I was going through with parents' divorce and whatnot, there was a lot riding on it. And Trinity, for example, was too big a campus, and I literally just kept getting lost and scared. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, well, no, Borough was good, but it wasn't what I needed at the end of my schooling career, and it was a great school, but it just wasn't suiting my needs, and the last 2 years of boarding school were awesome.
So you decided, though, to leave after the first term of grade 10.
Yes, dropped out.
How did Ma and Pa think about that?
Oh, well, they didn't really. They didn't think much of it. But Mum had my back and Dad had my back for work, but it wasn't... This is where the rebellious teenager came in. I sort of packed up my ute that I'd bought at 16 years old and didn't really have a full license at the time, but that didn't matter. And
how did you have a ute in the first place then?
I found a 1983 WB Kingswood that my mum said you're not allowed to buy, and because she said I couldn't buy it, I bought it that afternoon.
So you obviously had the cash.
Yeah, I'd been saving money. And it was like, well, you tell me I can't do this? Well, bugger you, I'm doing it.
What did you do for a job?
I worked at KFC. I did odd jobs around the farm and for other people as well. I just did little bits. And I also, at the time, was selling Herbalife, so the health nutrition company. So I was a distributor at the age of 15. And so I had my own little business, which was great. And so I was earning a little bit of money through that, and I just saved it. I just kept it, and I paid $1,200 for it back in those days, and I just thought that was the best thing. It was V8. I bailed, and then I kept in contact with everyone so they knew I was alive. Then I went to the farm first, patched things up with Dad and family because things weren't excellent at the time. But things are very, very good now. Wonderful. And they have been for many, 20, 30 years now, which is great. But things weren't excellent at that particular time. Patch things up, and you make mistakes in life, and you have to face it head on and go, sorry, probably that wasn't the best way to go about it as a teenager, and had to, swallow my own foot for a while. And
so what did you do once you got in that ute and hightailed it out of town?
First of all, got a job at a piggery and discovered that made me crook, like actually sick because of the ammonia in the air and everything. So I didn't last very long there. And then the opportunity came up with a shearing contractor. So I roustabout for a few months past Broken Hill. That was a good experience, but at the time of where the world was and it hadn't fully progressed for, let's just say, a young male who didn't really like women in those days in that particular way, it probably wasn't the best environment. And when rumours got out, it was a case of probably better go home.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was...
So how did you deal with all that? When did you realise that you were gay? Like, what age were you when you thought, I think it's time to... Yeah, but when did you come out and say to mum and dad and
well, I mean, I
family?
sort of got caught rather than coming out per se. Yeah, the parents found the phone bill. The internet history.
How early in the piece was this?
13.
Oh, wow.
So this is what I say about both my parents have done a spectacular job in raising me because I was not an easy child. There was no textbook on me.
So how did you navigate then once you kind of got the heave-ho from the shearing team?
Well, I mean, they never gave me the heave-ho. It was actually the shearer's cook who heard the rumour at the time and sort of gave me a tap on the shoulder and said, people are starting to talk. Is this accurate? And I'm like, yep. She goes, right. Well, probably best you not do this for a career. And then as it turned out, the lead shearer was really unhappy with my work anyway. I was pretty shit at it. And so I kind of got the golden handshake the next day anyway. And he said, oh, sorry, no, yeah, you're not quite meeting the standard. So I got to go home with my tail between my legs. But also it was probably a blessing in disguise at that point because it sort of kept me safe in a way.
So you weren't meeting the standard as a roustabout?
No, I sucked at it. No, I was really crap at it. Whatever that muscle gene is that people get, I didn't get it. I got the tall, lanky, and big teeth gene. So I didn't get the muscle gene or the speed gene or any of those particular ones. And so I was pretty shit at it.
So life took you in different directions after that.
It did.
Lots of jobs.
Many.
Okay, so from poultry farms,
Yep.
back and forth, on and off the farm.
You know, poultry job was actually a win because I met my best friend there and he's still my best mate now. And 20 coming up 3 years later, we're still each other's ride or die, which is kind of great. So that was the one positive that came out of the chook farm. So I did enjoy that. But then, yes, afterwards I had, you know, every Telstra job, working at a call centre, hospitality. I moved to the city thinking, well, you know, this is probably where the work is. And so did that and then sort of led into the makeup industry.
All right. Before makeup, though, weren't you involved in dance as well?
No, that's after makeup.
So dance was after.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about makeup. When did you start dabbling in makeup?
So the makeup came in school because we all had to do those hideous school performances of HMS Pinafore and Pirates of Penzance and all those terrible things where the teachers think that they've put spectacular makeup on you. But in fact, you just look like Ronald McDonald had got on the sauce and, had a bit of a bender. And so I, being the stroppy little shit that I was, basically rubbed all the makeup off and then nicked the makeup bag and put it on myself. And I was the only one in the photos that didn't look half crap. But I was internally suspended for 5 days for insubordination after that. And that's where it began. Once again, another tell me not to do something and I'm going to do it.
But obviously had a natural flair for it.
Yeah, I liked it.
What do you think it was about makeup that attracted you to it apart from not looking like Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, look, I don't actually know. I mean, I was a huge fan of Priscilla Queen of the Desert, like growing up, obviously, and loved the drag makeup and everything, but it's sort of forgotten about that in school. I wish I could pinpoint it, but I just remember going, I'm really good at this. And it was like, I wasn't good at a lot of things, like sport, any kind of ball sport, anything like that. I was shit at a lot of things. Through my youth, I've been told, like, oh, you can't learn, you can't do this, you can't do that. So there was a lot of can'ts, but when I figured out I could do this, it was like, oh, and also I'm very good at it, and I love it. So it kind of stemmed from there.
How old were you when you started? 21.
21 when I did a diploma, yeah. There were two reasons. One, I was starting to do drag performances at nightclubs in Adelaide at around about that age as well, between 18 and 21, just started performing, and so my performance makeup was really getting really good, and I thought, this is awesome. And I was sort of being paid by other performers to do their makeup, and at the time it was like $40, but I'm like, man, I just did like 4 faces in like 3 hours. I'm like, I've got like $150 or whatever to spend over the bar. Woo! And so that's sort of where it really kicked in. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute. If I'm doing drag makeup and costume makeup and performance makeup, surely I'd be able to do the other stuff. And so I started playing around, and I was pretty good at it. And so I did a diploma at Media Makeup Academy, and that was amazing. It was such a great experience. Learned so much more, not necessarily about the makeup itself, because I was sort of already really knee deep in that. But it was the other things as well that sort of came to it. Like, for example, when you're doing bridal makeups and, your consult with that, it's about, you are literally a counsellor of if they've had too much to drink, if they're sad, if they're worried, does he love me, does he not, put your face on. Like all of that, like hell that comes on with makeup consults. You really
like
are.
a hairdresser.
Oh my God. Yeah, literally. It should be called beauty therapy for a reason, because it is. It's like we hear everything. With the only thing we don't have are the codes for the nukes. But, if I end up doing Trump's makeup, then, I might get him. But, it's one of those things where I found that part really easy and enjoyable, because I had been through some pretty rough times, and so I could read a room. I could judge it, I could feel it, I could work out what needed to be said at that moment in time to the bride or to the person to make them feel like they were great in their makeup. And that is 3/4 of the battle.
And speaking of that, obviously there's a real personal connection to makeup as well for you.
Yeah. So a family member of mine who I love dearly had been through, let's just say for private reasons, some rough times. But the confidence I saw when she put on her makeup and did the hair and always looked special when she was going out, the confidence came from knowing she looked good, right? No matter how bad the day was, no matter how bad the situation was, no matter what was going on, lippy, mascara, hair, out the door. And the confidence lasted all day. And it continued to. And I thought, well, bugger me. If that really helps, if that is just something that I can do to improve 1 or 20 or 200,000 or 2 million lives through my, like the education some of the YouTubes have done, and the now sort of tour that I'm wanting to be doing around Australia called Beauty in Bubbles, which is a safe space for people to come and see a makeup demonstration and have a bit of a network and just go, hey, guess what? You know what? I hate foundation matching, right? I don't know if I'm cool or warm. I have no idea. It feels like, for me, it's one of my biggest purposes and why I love it so dearly, because it's giving back. But I guess when we do something we love, it's a little bit selfish in a way too, because I love how it feels.
Oh, I don't think it's selfish at all.
Well, when I say that, I mean like it's a thing that makes me
a
feel
self-indulgent thing.
Yeah. It's like going, you're not going to eat the whole block of chocolate, but you know what? No one's watching me. I so am. And
we're going to talk about Beauty in Bubbles in just a moment, because I really want to look into that more. But let's go back a step to your diploma. And you said you learnt a lot through that process. Do you remember any aha moments in that time, especially when applying makeup? Because there's a lot of women out there that have been applying makeup for years, me included, that really don't know what they're doing. But for you, learning the creative process and the specific artistry behind it, any tips that you can give us? The
good old colour wheel. So, for example, like colours opposites colours. So when I say that, for example, the general colour under your eyes when you've had a big night or you're tired or you just have children running you ragged is blue and purple, right? Now the opposite to this is yellow and orange, right? So that's a concealer that has an orange base in it is the best thing to put under your eye rather than something that's lighter, because the blue is going to show through no matter what. So colour theory was really exciting for me. Loved it. So just those sorts of things were a light bulb moment, sort of, particularly when into production of my own stuff as well. It was like, I went, right, we need to have these right colours and we need to have them to be so basic that anyone can figure this out. But that was a big one for me. And it's a best kept secret because what's available in local communities generally has about 7 shades or so. And they'll say things like angel dust moonflower. And they won't give any indication as to whether you're cool, you're warm, you're a pink undertone, you're a yellow undertone, you're a neutral. Any of those things don't really come into it.
Well, looking at me, do you know what my colour is?
Right now, I would say you are neutral, but you do have olive in your skin as well.
Do I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
think there was a lot.
So neutral base would be great for you. I would avoid anything with pink.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
We'll chat afterwards. Yeah. You know what? I should have brought my kit for you.
You should have done my
Why did I not bring it today?
We should have been doing my makeup while we had this conversation.
You know what? Absolutely. We should. Next time, that's going to happen.
All right. So after your diploma, where did life take you?
I actually taught back at Media Makeup immediately, which was great because I had already had a background knowledge in drag and theatrical makeup, and they needed a teacher to teach drag. So it was very awkward when I actually came into my own class and taught it. I can tell you the reception wasn't great from the students because they were in my class and they're like, well, why the hell are you teaching it? And I said, well, I've done this for many years and I do it around the area anyway. So, yeah, so that was the most awkward makeup experience I've ever had.
Was there a big market for drag makeup? Or
is
there still
absolutely.
a huge
It still is, and I think it's even more so now than ever. But a lot of the performers now, thanks to the education of like RuPaul's Drag Race and all the tutorials online as well, most performers are doing their own makeup these days. Where before there wasn't as much education on the full drag styles and nor the products to use it as well. So now the education is full on. Like if you just type in drag makeup tutorial in YouTube, you'll get 50,000 videos come up. They're all slightly different, but they all have the same basics.
And where has the makeup industry taken you?
Oh, look, to places I never thought were possible, like, television sets, studios. I've worked on a couple of film sets over the years and, photography everywhere. That has been a wonderful journey. Helping people on their wedding days, that's been an absolute blessing. It's wonderful to help someone on their most special day. Not only look good, but feel good too. You've got to have a laugh with them. You got to have some fun. If you just sit there and be like, please sit still, I'm doing your mascara, they are not having a fun time. So you've got to have a good time with it. And the makeup has taken me so many backstages and to so many performances.
Can you give me an example of where you've been? So what film
I'm trying to... Well, there was a film set I was actually on. I was in the film. It was called Boy Story back... we're talking about 10, 15 years ago now. It was about the family murders. And I was doing the makeup on set for the cast as well as my own and as well as acting. So that was...
Boy Story.
Yes, I was Lola Davenport. And so she was a nightclub worker at Catches, which was the original Checkmates. And so going back to Kelvin Sun sort of time of the family murders, that's what the film was based on. That was by Hartwig Heller Productions back then.
Wow.
It was such a wonderful experience. And I've done makeup for my acting agency. That's Essential Talent and Actors Inc.
So you're an actor as well?
Yeah, I've been in a couple of things. I wouldn't say anything that's like super major, but everyone always relates me to looking like Guy Pearce. So you never know. Hopefully, I might meet him one day.
Oh yeah, you do too.
I don't know whether it's the eyes, the nose, or just the general.
The mouth?
Yeah, that. Yeah. There's that too. I really want to do a lot more of it because it is such a wonderful industry to be a part of.
How has the industry changed over the 20 years that you've been a part of it?
Oh, massively. It has exploded. There is a product for everything. And when I started, there really wasn't. Like when I started, it was a pretty well basic primer. If you used it, you obviously your liquid foundations, your stick foundations, blah, blah, blah. But now there's a YouTube product for everything. And it gets very confusing. With people really stepping into the market, there's an eye primer, a lip primer, for God's sakes, like an eyebrow primer, for everything now. And it's very flooded. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. For artists who are working full-time on really, really intricate film sets and whatnot and in incredible industries, it's fantastic to have such an incredible variety, but for just the standard person wanting to know what suits them, it's really, really confusing.
And overwhelming.
I know a lot of my clients have said, I don't go into department stores because I just get sold by the people who are there. And it's like they walk in, they go, oh, darling, no, you need this, and this. And they walk out with 30 products and they have no bloody idea how to put it on their face and or in which order. And then it sits in the bag, which they bought it. They might take one item out and they return the rest. I said, and this is because of the lack of education as to what they are. So in retail, it really sucks.
Well, do you find that there's more education now online, though, of how to apply, what products to apply, what are the necessary products?
I think so, but I think you've also got to be in the frame of mind to search that. So it's like if you are flat out, you've got 2 young kids, something like that, you're doing school runs, you're doing lunches, you've got a job of your own as well, plus running a household. Where are you going to find the time to go on YouTube and sort out which skin color you are? Really? There's no such thing as the general Australian mum. I'm trying to surmise it a little bit, but there's no such thing. But I'm thinking just a very busy, active mum or partner trying to sort this, like navigate the industry is really tough.
So from your perspective, what are the basics that the everyday woman needs in their makeup kit?
A good moisturizer, right? The hydration is key. Now that can also take the place of a primer. So a lot of people don't like primer just for the reason that it doesn't make the skin feel so nice. And some love it, right? But as long as you have a good, really nice moisturizer as well, morning and night, please. And my biggest thing before I even get to makeup, cleanse your face in the morning and cleanse it at night. Please wash off your makeup at night, please, because it ages you. I think it's the last study was around about 6 days in your skin's lack of ability to actually, for lack of a better word, refurbish itself and replenish its nutrients. 6 days it'll age if you do not take your makeup off at night.
Oh.
And obviously this varies completely differently with every person, right? But it can cause breakouts and over oiliness in some areas, dry patches, eczema, any of those things it can actually cause quite easily if you don't. Because think of it this way, it's like, if you were covered in mud out in the paddock after being in the sheep yards all day, you wash it off, don't you? Makeup is the same. It just looks pretty. It doesn't look like you've been in the sheep yards like covered in dust all day, but it's the same thing, essentially. It's still a coating on your skin and it can't breathe. And there's products like silica and, silicone in there as well, which are designed to stay on and block the pores. And if you leave it on there, they just stay blocked. Skin doesn't get to hydrate itself.
So apart from moisturizer and making sure that you wash your makeup off every night and cleanse every morning, what should be in my makeup case?
Love a lippy. Lippy is great to throw on even if you're literally just rushing between jobs and whatnot. Just throw a little bit of lippy on, you're sorted. A foundation that matches your skin and for what you use it for. Sometimes people say, I don't really like a heavy coverage, so get something a little bit lighter. A concealer is great for after a big night or just a really rough week. Just make sure it matches your skin tone. Then a mascara and a blush. And obviously an eyeshadow palette if you're into eyeshadows, but not everyone is really all about the eyes. So if you're not into eyeshadow, mascara, fantastic. But please throw your mascara out every 3 months.
Really?
Yes. Yes, please.
Why?
Well, this is a gross fact, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So our eyes hold a substantial amount of bacteria in them because there's germs and dirt and dust flying through the air. So our eyelashes actually hold huge amounts of bacteria. And your body fights all this off and cleanses it with every blink and every day, right? If you're putting the actual wand on your lashes in your, it's going to sound gross, but in your eye juice, and then you're putting it back into the pot and then putting that pot in and out with oxygen getting in there, it breeds bacteria and it goes off. And so if you find your eyes running after mascara and you find they're feeling a bit hot and a bit weird and a bit strained, like that like wind in your eyes feeling, ditch it. It's off. It has expired.
Oh my goodness, my mascara is so old.
You and everyone else's.
Oh,
3 months, that's it. The only way you can get past this is using disposable wands.
Good tip.
I see I'm full of these random disgusting facts.
And you'll learn all about these in his Beauties and Bubbles sessions.
Not just the gross ones.
Well, let's talk about your own makeup line. Are we
Yes.
jumping too much ahead if we go in that direction?
No, not at all.
I met Alastair up at Port Augusta at a field day, and he was putting all the makeup on all the beautiful models for Nikki Atkinson's Horrocks Vale collection fashion parade, which she did a beautiful job, by the way.
Thank you.
And this is where I heard about your makeup line. So tell us about this and why you've done it in the first place.
Okay, so I've been the owner of Sensation Makeup Artistry, so SMA, for about 12 years now, and it was all for my education and bridal and all the makeups in general, so that was just the company. But then it had a funny start. I had quite a large night at a certain pub with some friends, and we were talking about, makeup in the country and how it's going and whatnot, and I was severely inebriated, and I said, how funny would it be if we had an eyeshadow palette that literally had a chick on a ute, on the bullbud, doing her makeup, having a laugh, and all the colours in there are named, like, celebrating our hilarious Aussie culture. Anyway, the next day I woke up and everything was a bit fuzzy, and I thought, oh, yeah, anyway, what's this thing in my pocket? And it was a napkin of all the names that I'd written down. Now, some of them did not make the palette because they were a bit ruder than what's in the palette, but the gist of the idea was there. And so was born the Bush Babes eyeshadow palettes, which celebrates Aussie humour in our wonderful culture and celebrates it in makeup. So it went from there, and then
And what's on the palettes? What are some of the names?
Oh, so we've got Bulldust, Kelpie, Anti-Seize, Coolant, Galar. The black is cruiser soot, because if you've ever been behind an old cruiser and they put their foot down, you can't see past them. So, black as diesel soot. And it was great because I got to play in my rural life in the makeup industry. And it's gone incredibly well because people have bought it. Not only, they're very, very good products, but the fact of people were just having a laugh. It took I'm not sure if that's for me, out of it, because people just had a laugh.
What is the makeup world like in the country? I mean, how is it perceived?
Well, this actually takes me to the second part of the brand, which is She'll Be Right Cosmetics. From where I stood, makeup always promotes every other part of the world except Australia. I'm not saying some brands don't do this. Of course, there are some Australian brands of makeup, but mine was a little bit different in the celebration. We've been called She'll Be Right because it was no matter where you're from, what part of the country or city or station out east you're from, the attitude is always, no matter what's going on in your life, she'll be right. Put your best boot and or foot forward and just go about the day. Get it done, right? And do it with confidence. And so that's why everyone says she'll be right. No matter how bad things are, everyone pitches in and gets it done.
Yep.
And that's where I wanted to, take the makeup industry and make sure it was relatable to the Australian person as well. Because from my view, there's not a lot of range in the country. It might be in a Foodland or a pharmacy or something, but there's not a huge range of colour choices, of, brand choices as well. And I wanted there to be one that was really relatable, almost being like a mate.
Yeah.
So that literally they just go, oh, look, I use the She'll Be Right tube. That's all I use, but that's fine. I don't care if you use one of my products or 10.
So you've got a colour palette, but then what other products do you have?
So I have 2 eyeshadow palettes. So there's one Bush Babes regular, so it's got all the colours in it, so it's very, very bright. And then there's one called the Dusk Edition, which is all smoky, sultry colours, which is the most popular. Then we have 2 different types of foundations, so a full coverage and a light coverage, but it also has a concealer in the lid itself, so you can thicken it up if needed. I have a concealer stick, that's the Brush Duo, which you can use just a small stick, and you can use that anywhere on the go. It has an application brush on the back, so for really quick, like in the rearview mirror application. I've got mascaras, I've got my lipstick, which is called Lippy, and also the clay pan pressed powder because it is as matte as a clay pan in a drought. So that's what the range is currently. There will be a She'll Be Right palette coming out this year as well to go in that range, which I'm excited about.
How much input do you have in creating the palette? Like, who actually makes it?
It's sourced overseas at the moment. However, that's looking to change further along this year. As I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, God willing, we'll be able to do all the manufacturing here in, not here, but in Melbourne. potentially. So I would very much love to say it's Australian made and owned. It's currently made overseas. We are cruelty free. It's all vegan friendly as well. There are no parabens in the makeup whatsoever.
So there's not a huge amount of stock being sold in the country areas though?
No. This is my biggest goal this year, is to be able to find either a pharmacy chain or a supermarket chain somewhere along, even community stores that are happy to stock the product and give the community a boost with it as well. Because hopefully by the middle of this year, every package that comes will have a QR code on it, and we'll actually have a little instruction from me on how best to use it.
The one thing that you haven't touched on, I really want you to do so. You also mentioned before I hit record about how there's this stigma in the country that you shouldn't look nice.
Yeah, and it's not say that you shouldn't look nice per se, but if you stand out from the norm, there's a lot of tall poppy chopping. And it has been in the community for years. Like, I know my mum used to cop it pretty efficiently when it was, if mum had, really got a nice new outfit, new hair, like all that sort of stuff. And they used to go, oh, jeez, who's she dressing up for? It puts a bad taste in your mouth. People should be supporting each other and going, oh my God, she looks amazing. What is she doing? I want to do that. It shouldn't be this, oh, what is she all tarted up for? And that's sort of, 1, tarted up, negative. 2, who was she doing it for? She's probably doing it for herself. Right? Then it doesn't need to be a reason. Be the best version of you. And doesn't mean you need to do makeup every day. Of course not. I've had clients for years that literally I was helping. One of my clients who'd been through a rotten divorce and had suffered some really, really bad mental health issues. And she just wanted to be able to leave the house without having crippling anxiety. And looking good, funnily enough, actually helped her with the agoraphobia. Like, massively. Hers was so bad that, it actually... She was afraid to get in the car because of an accident. And after 2 years of just doing like little bits of makeup here and there, she wasn't wearing it anymore. And I ran into her and she said, oh, you'd be disappointed with me. I haven't got my face on. And I said, God, no, why? And she said, oh, I don't need it anymore. And I said, that is the best bloody result I could ever ask for. I said, you feel confident in yourself again. I said, that's why I do what I do. So if it's for me, it's like if someone needs to wear it every day. No, it's for someone to just feel a little bit better when they do need it.
And that is so true. I think, I know that even for myself, if you're feeling a bit nyeh or you need to get some enthusiasm in your day, if you just put a bit of makeup on, it makes you feel good, makes you feel more confident. It's bang on there because that's so true. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I do. Yeah.
Look, it's actually taking it back to my mum for a second. She always used to get a bit of stick when she was working in the sheep yards or whatever, because she always had her makeup on, right? Always. It was the Max Factor pancake. It was as thick as. But she still has beautiful skin to this day because she wore makeup every day and she didn't get sunburnt. So
I'm amazed you haven't said have a good sunscreen as part of your makeup.
Okay, so sunscreen, I should say my products don't have sunscreen in them because the regulations to get them over are just ridiculous. It's a bit too challenging. But sunscreen, big one. If you are a sunscreen person under the makeup, pop it on, leave it 10 minutes so it soaks into your skin, and then pop your foundation on. Perfect.
Oh, so 10 minutes you got to wait.
Yeah, because quite oily. Do a thin-ish layer. I wouldn't absolutely pack it on. But obviously, if you're really, prone to being burnt, you use as much as you need to. You'll just find your foundation may not adhere as well. The one that I love is Sukin. Love it. My skin is so sensitive, and it just soaks it up. It's and that's Australian owned, but it's beautiful. I love it, and that's so available everywhere, which is great.
Okay, so that's the makeup, but you're also a farmer.
Yes,
we can't deny you of that privilege. How do you balance the makeup and the farming? And when did you go back and become a full-time farmer?
I guess I couldn't call myself a full-time farmer. That would be disrespectful to those who are. But I have a family property. It has been for 6 generations, and it's, but we do share farm the cropping side of things. So our share farmer is brilliant. He comes in and does, all the sowing, the reaping, the handling of the crop side of things. And I've actually just gone back into my own merino stud stock myself. Haven't registered a stud, but I have stud sheep back on, which is really lovely.
So you came back to the farm more so when COVID hit. Is that when it?
When COVID hit, and Dad needed more help on the property as well, and I realised that I was just wasting my life in town because it was, I never fitted in town to the point of like doing a 9-to-5 job. I hated it. Hated waking up in the morning and doing it.
And this is when you were in education?
This was working like a second job at a pharmacy or a hospitality to keep the bills paid, while paying exuberant rent in town, and it was just money for jam. And I was just working to be able to survive, and I thought this goes against everything that I love and who I am. So I came back to the farm, and Dad and the family needed a fair bit of help, and so everything was maintenance, from fencing to fixing windmills to whatever the job was on the day. And my dad has an incredible brain. I just wish I could plug a USB into it. He is the most creative and ingenious person I know. He can fix, make, build, create anything, and it's an inspiration. But it's, so I've
Do you get along with him quite well?
Oh, yeah. No, Dad and I, thick as thieves. We do. And that gets better as you get older, because I used to have a fuse about as long as half a matchstick. And so did he. And so we both have an argument, turn on our heels and walk off.
And what does he think about your makeup passion?
I know. He's so supportive. He thinks it's brilliant. I've been very lucky with my family in general. They're very supportive from my mum's side and my dad's side. And they're all right behind me, which is really great. And not a lot of people get to say that.
And what about the general stigma in the community about you being a farmer in the makeup industry? Because that's very, very rare. I mean, what reception have you received in your local community?
Well, I mean, it's... Well, there's a difference between what has been received and what gets taken on board. I have a saying. It is, other people's opinions are theirs. They're theirs. If they want to be negative and have a bit of a gossip behind my back, that's their problem. They've got to live with that, because it doesn't affect me. Because at the end of the day, if someone's actually got a problem with me, call me. And if you don't have my phone number, you're probably not close enough to warrant having a go at me. And even if you do, you should probably think twice, because I'm not by any means going to ever apologise by doing all the things that I'm meant to be here to do.
Yeah. So there is still that stigma in this day and age.
Yeah, a bit, I think, but I'll actually be honest and say that in my particular communities that I'm involved in, the support has been incredible. Incredible. That's why I say the negativity for the naysayers, and they can bugger off. I'm not interested. Like, it's like, I couldn't care less. What other people think about me is none of my business. It's their problem. But there's so much more positive than negative, because people figured out that I'm not doing this for me. I mean, obviously, yes, I do I get to make a business out of this and a living, which is, what anybody can do. If someone gets to do that with what they love, that's such a blessing. So I'm very grateful for that. But it's about giving back as well. I'm not just selling products and just raking in the cash. Trust me. Trust me, not. Back
to your stud sheep. Yeah. That's your thing at the moment. Is your dad still on the farm?
Yes, he is. They're not. They are. So the story starts. We owned Anlaby Merino Stud for quite a very long time, and it's anybody who knows sort of Kapunda area knows Anlaby. Beautiful, beautiful old station, so rich in history. But my father, my uncle, and my grandfather ran the Anlaby sheep stud for many, many, many years, about 30 years. That was sold during the divorce around that period, and so it went to the two lovely owners who have the station now, who are just the most incredibly kind and wonderful people, and they've done an incredible job with the line. I mean, we sold the stud to them at around about 28 micron, and they've got it down to about 16. The wool is like powder. It's just, the comfort factor is unbelievable, and I very proudly can say that I've actually bought some of the stud that we sold, some of the stock back, and I'm now the proud owner of. So that to me is just one of the most amazing. A lot of people don't care about the history of things. I care about how many generations have been on our land, and the blood, sweat and tears that went into those sheep, and the history that is. So now to be able to buy a few head back and start a small breeding program with that. It not just about the industry, it's about completing the circle. And I've brought some home.
And what about you personally? Are you happy?
Yeah, I am. That's a frontal question. Yes, I am. I have the most spectacular partner, Paul Easton. He is the most beautiful human that I've ever met. Been together over 3 years now, and he supports me in all of my crazy ventures, no matter how daft they seem at the time. He's just the most beautiful human being, and if you have a happy relationship, I think that's 3/4 of the battle of life. And also loved in our communities in Williamstown Borough and Eudunda, everywhere else, that everyone just thinks the world of him. And to have that acceptance in the communities now in rural industry as a same-sex relationship is massive, was something I never thought probably would happen, like in the acceptance part, and it has. So it's a really warming, wonderful feeling that different. It's nice.
Thank you so much for sharing so much of your life and your story with me on the Voice It podcast.
It's my pleasure.
Good luck with your makeup line. Good luck with the Beauty and Bubbles workshops or sessions that you're running. Hopefully we'll see a lot more of that over the next 12 to 24 months.
There will be.
And it's been such a pleasure. So thank you.
Oh, me too. I absolutely love doing this today, and what you're doing is amazing. So it's brilliant.
For more on the Beauty and Bubbles sessions, get in touch with Alastair. His details are in my show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review. I learned a lot from Alastair. I hope you did too. And let's just say I went and bought a new mascara after the eye juice story. Yep. Just before I sign off, a little bit about me and my business, Voice It. It's a communications business specialising in public speaking training, media training, podcasting, audio memoir production and MC work. I'm passionate about giving people the skills to be effective, engaging and memorable communicators, not just on stage, but in life, in general conversation. I'm a former ABC broadcast journalist and also have 12 years experience in Anlaby speech and drama. I use those skills to bring you engaging and fun workshops and recording sessions to make you feel at ease and enjoy the process, because I get it. Public speaking can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. That's enough about me. I'm Annabelle Homer. I'll catch you very soon for another episode of the Voice It podcast.